गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणस्पत शृण्वन्नोतिभिस्सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजिनीवती धीरामवित्रयवतु गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम् हिरण्यवर्णां हरिणीं सुवर्णरजतस्रजां चन्द्रां हिरण्मयीं लक्ष्मीं जातवेदो महावः तां महावः जातवेदो लक्ष्मीमनपगामिनीं यस्यां हिरण्यं विन्देयं गामश्वं पुरुषानहम् अश्वपूर्वां रथमद्यां हस्तिनाग प्रबोधिनीं श्रियं देवीमुपह्वये श्रीर्मा देवीर्जुषताम् कांसोऽस्मितां हिरण्यप्राकारामाद्रां ज्वलन्तीं तृप्तां तर्पयन्तीं पद्मे स्थितां पद्मवर्णां तामिहोपह्वये श्रियम् चन्द्रां प्रभासां यशसा ज्वलन्तीं श्रियं लोके देवजुष्टामुदारां तां पद्मिनीं शरणमहं प्रपद्ये अलक्ष्मीर्मे नश्यतां त्वां वृणे आदित्यवर्णे तपसोऽधिजातो वनस्पतिस्तव वृक्षोऽधबिल्वः तस्य फलानि तपसा नुदन्तु मायान्तरायाश्च बाह्याः लक्ष्मीः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। साई राम। Let's chant the Chandram Prabhasa. We were studying the meaning of Kamsosmitam last week. This week we'll study the meaning of these two slokas, the two hymns, Chandram Prabhasam, Aditya Varnetam Soya. So let's chant Chandram Prabhasam. Chandram Prabhasam Yashasa Jvalantim Shriyam Loke Devajushtamudaram Tam Padminim
शरणमहं प्रपद्ये लक्ष्मीर्मे नश्यतां त्वां वृणे.
Now, Chandram Prabhasam. We are talking about Sri, which also means auspiciousness, positivity. What is negative in us? Where are the bad qualities coming from? Mind, yeah. So what is the root cause of bad qualities? Mind. But this mind is also a very interesting instrument. Manayeva manushyanam karanam bandhamokshayo. It is this mind that is responsible for either liberation or bondage. This mind is the key, and this key is in your hand, in our hand. When I say your, not you, mine also. This key, when you use it, a key can be used for either locking or unlocking. As Bhagavan describes very beautifully, if your heart is the lock and your mind is the key, and you take this key, turn it this way, what happens? Locks. Turn it this way, unlocks. When you take the mind, turn it anti-clockwise, which is towards the world, you are locked. Take the mind, turn it clockwise towards the right direction. R-A-G-H-T. You turn it rightwards, in the right way, in the right direction. Then it unlocks. Turning towards the right is turning towards the divine. Turning towards the left is inauspiciousness. Turning towards the right is therefore considered auspicious. Left is considered inauspicious. So now when you are taking this mind, the key, and you are turning towards the left direction, then you have become more negative. You are bound. You are now completely attached. Again, as Swami says, you start with 2 legs. You get married, you add 2 more legs. You have 2 kids, you add 4 more legs. Then along with the wife will come their family, few more legs. Along with children, few more legs. Grandchildren, lot more legs. Then what happened? You are adding more legs to each of you, each of us. So as you add more bondages, then what happens? From 2 legs, you become a centipede, a millipede. So many pedes are coming. Peda in Telugu means bad thing. So many pedes are coming. So these pedes, what they do is they slow you down. They slow you down. Instead of becoming free, they are becoming more and more bound. And the one that is responsible for any of this inauspiciousness is really the mind. So the mind has to be therefore turned into the positive direction, and in order to turn it into the positive direction, this beautiful mantra is describing about how the mind, that it is turned in different directions, can be auspicious or inauspicious. What is a right mind? Chandram, that mind, the moon, here referred to is the mind, symbolically. Chandram, Prabhasam, Yashasajvalantim. Chandram, Prabhasam. Chandram, the moon, Prabhasam, that is illumined properly with the right source, it is illumined. And when it is illumined with the right source, then Yashasa Jvalantim, it is now radiant with all positive qualities. Yashasa. Yashas means fame. In a literal translation word, Yashas means fame. But in this mantra, Yashas means actually your character. A person with the right character will be absolutely, no question about that, they will be famous. The real fame is the great character. So a mind that is illumined by great character, Yashasajvalanti. Now this Yashas is coming from actually inside. Prabhasam, the illumination from inside, that is illumining the mind in good character, Yashasajvalanti. Then what happens? That mind, Sriyam Loke, that mind is useful for the society, is auspicious for the society. Loka means world. That mind that is illumined and with great character, that character will be Sriyam Loke, Devajustam. Devajustam means even giving energy to the gods. Deva means gods, Jushtam means energy. It energizes even gods. Hello, it's very important to understand this. What we think of as demigods, they don't have any senses. Okay? Meaning what? They are not compelled by senses. So they can't really experience any of this stuff. To experience something you need the mind. But the mind without experience is a God's mind. Okay? Because mind, yesterday we were talking, Brother Murali and I, Swami defined very nicely, man minus mind is equal to God. Doesn't mean that God is mindless. God has no impelling by the senses, so there is no experiential part of it. A mind that is illumined by character, great characters, that is useful to the society, even gods want to experience that mind. Devajustam. Because now they are yearning to experience that beautiful character. Therefore what happens? All the gods, demigods, everybody is waiting to serve a great character. Now this is the practical application of this mantra. When we are learning these mantras, you learn the translation. It says, I am praying to this goddess who is radiant as the moon and radiant as this radiant. There is no God you are praying to. Where is God? All these mantras is for practical application of our own life. How to transform our own character. How to actually connect to the value aspect of these mantras. So the value aspect of this mantra is have a mind, Chandram, Prabhasam, illumined, Yashasajvalanti. You are radiant with your character. And that radiant character, a mind with an incredible character behind it, that mind is so powerful that that mind will always be positive to the whole world. Sriyam Loke, Devajustam, means it is even giving energy to the gods. They are lined up. If you have a great character and a great mind illumined by, like Aurobindo says, lower mind, superior mind, supramental mind. This mind is different levels of minds are there. As you go from animal mind, the himsa, to a mind that is fearless, simha, to a mind that is able to distinguish good and bad with discrimination and dispassion and determination, which is called hamsa. Then even the higher mind, soham. Himsa, lower mind, feared mind. Simha, no fear mind. Hamsa, mind that is able to distinguish what is good and what is bad and dispassionate. To Hamsa, highest mind. To this mind which is the highest mind, radiant with supreme character, that mind is useful to the whole world. And that mind is what even gods are wanting to experience the world. In what? Udaram. Udaram means extremely forgiving and compassionate. This mind with great character is not hurt by anything that is ordinary. Understand? Udaram means that mind which is highly forgiving and compassionate. We have to understand this word forgiveness. Lot of people are thinking forgiveness means to forgive somebody is understood in a worldly sense. How? That we are tolerating them. I forgive you is a word that is used to imply what? I am great, you are low, so therefore I forgive you. Huh? Forgiveness is not for doing a favor to somebody. Forgiveness is actually, if you have this paripurna, purna I, the complete I, this complete I cannot take any dent in it. The I with a dent is called identity. When there is a dent in the I, then you have identity. Because you are not any of these other things, right? So like Mahatma Gandhi said very beautifully. He said, first time, shame on them. Second time, shame on me. Because how can they hurt me? If I only allow somebody to hurt me, then only I can be hurt. You understand? It's a very, very important concept to understand, especially for the youth today, who are going through so many different identity crises. You have to be identified as somebody. If you do some things, then you get an identity. You are taken into that society. But a great character does not allow anybody to identify them. It is radiant by itself. It is so radiant with itself that even when somebody criticizes, they are not hurt by it and forgiving. Udaram. Therefore, what this mantra is suggesting is, I reminded of a story of Buddha. Buddha goes for begging alms and he was standing in front of a house and one guy comes out, looks at him and he says, hey you fellow, you look very strong and young. What is the point of you begging these alms? And why are you begging? Go do work, and all kinds of abuses he was throwing on Buddha. Buddha was simply smiling. As Buddha was smiling, the guy got more angry. And he started more abusing. How come you are smiling when I am talking to you? Don't you understand what I am saying? Are you deaf? That. He was still smiling. Then he really, after, what is wrong with you? Why in the world are you smiling? Then Buddha very smilingly replied, Sir, if you are giving me something, I will get it only when I accept it. If I don't accept, for example, the food you brought outside, what do you have to do if I don't take it? Take it inside. Right? If somebody is trying to give you something and you don't accept, what do they have to do? They have to keep it with them. Right? So because I am not accepting what you are giving, you please keep whatever you are saying with you. It belongs to you. It doesn't belong to me. It belongs to you. It doesn't belong to me. That is real forgiveness. Forgiveness is not like, you become such a silly fellow, you cry about somebody said something, you are crying and you are, finally you say, okay, I forgive you. No, that is not forgiveness. Forgiveness fundamentally is not even having, the character is so supreme, it doesn't even give in, it only gives out. It doesn't even give in, it's always giving out. That character, yes.
So what if you realize that you have done something wrong?
Oh, that is a different story. Somebody has to forgive you. So go ahead.
So what I'm saying, it could be misinterpreted that arrogance is also being okay, I don't care about what others think about me.
Arrogant, yeah, it can be perceived as arrogant. But people stop there. They think somebody's perception is calling me arrogant, therefore they try to mold their character. That is not a character. this character that we are talking about, it's not doing something because to address the perception of others. It is what it is. It is a being in completeness. It's a character. You don't do things because you want to please others. You do things because that is what the divine has intended you to do. Then in the path of doing that, if you are doing wrong, your conscience absolutely tells you, if you are a character, you are guide. There is this alarm clock that is within us. Absolutely it is ringing. Hey, alarm, alarm, alarm. This is not right, this is not right. Then what we are saying, a true character actually pays lot of attention to that inner voice that is saying. They are guided by that. They are always in intuition. They are getting tutored from the indweller. That character is telling you. See, for me, one of the greatest characters of today's 20th century is Mahatma Gandhi. Unbelievably greatest character. There is no character like that I have seen. Not that there are no great characters, don't get me wrong. It is such truthfulness to the extreme. So Mahatma Gandhi was also perceived as arrogant by some people. But you don't stop because of that. How arrogant, how determined, his wife, when everybody was giving the jewelry, how he treated. If you read the history of Mahatma Gandhi, some people will say, he abused his wife, she was never happy. That's all nonsense. She was a great woman that learned lots of lessons with a character like Mahatma Gandhi, who never gave in for anything less than truth, period. Understand? Chandram Prabhasam Yasasa Jwalanti. Chandram, when the mind is illumined by a great character that is incredibly effulgent and radiant, that is the meaning. So what is the most fundamental thing that we need to cultivate this character is, like I was saying yesterday in the satsang, the end of culture is perfection. End of culture is perfection. You are culturing this mind. In order to culture this mind, what happens? Now that is the next mantra. How do I determine that? That next sloka is saying, Tam Padminim Im Sharanamaham Prapajye Alakshmairme Nashyatam Tvam Vrune. How do I cultivate this character that is so supreme and radiant and that is so forgiving, that is useful to the world, and even the gods seek to be that character. Even gods seek to be that character. Prajapatisharati garbhe antaka ajayamano bahudha vijayate tasya dhira parijananti yonim marichinam padamichanti vedhasaga. Even Brahma is wanting to have a character like Marichi. Now that mantra is saying that Vedasaha, even Brahma is wanting to have a what? Let me forget this title called Brahma. Let me forget all these titles I have accumulated. Those titles and those identities what somebody gave you, they don't belong to you. It is how they identify you with. So don't get caught up in all of that stuff. But who should I be? Prajapatisharati garbhe antaha. The indweller that is present in everybody, that indweller is the one that doesn't have any birth. But it appears he has taken birth in many ways. Ajayamano bahudha vijayate. The one who doesn't have any birth is born in so many beings. Once you realize that secret of it, then what happened? That is what great souls like Marichi have realized. This is what great souls like Gandhis have realized. That's why it's called Mahatma. Great soul. Why? Because the character is so radiant. You can walk into a banquet hall that the queen is giving a dinner with your khaddar, half-naked guy, Amazing story. And the guy, and he was eating with his hand in the banquet hall of the queen at the dinner, high tea time. The guy that is serving the food and said, "Sir, you have to use this fork and spoon." And he said, "Please forgive me. I don't know how many hands used that. This was used only by me." Huh? That is simplicity in character. That is absolute great character. See how he replied that, huh? You don't know how many hands used that spoon and that fork, right? But had anybody used these fingers to eat? You fed somebody, but your eating only is with this hand. And this is the most incredible character that Mahatma Gandhi, I don't know why I'm so much present to Mahatma Gandhi's character as I speak, but that character is what even gods want to get energy from. Because the purpose of gods is only to serve these characters, nothing else. They are waiting at the doorstep. Let me have an opportunity to serve you. Let me have an opportunity to serve you. And even the great characters, no, I'm sorry. I don't want to use any of your powers. You can stay outside. I have my own power, my inner power. So when you see Mahatma Gandhi come from South Africa, and when he is stepping at the dock of Bombay, lot of people were lined up, and there was a big pedestal that was set up for him to go and give a talk to thousands of people at the Bombay port. And Patel and everybody thought he will go, grab that mic and give a big talk. Huh? What Mahatma does? He goes on to the pedestal and he says, "Hey Ram, thank you all for coming. I am so obliged to be your servant." Comes down, gets into the car. Patel is saying, "What a man, we set up such a beautiful opportunity for you to market yourself, to give this great talk. What did you do? You just go say thanks and come down." Then he says, "What do I know about this country? I don't know about these people. I lived outside of India for so many years. I have to first be in the country, travel through the country, and I have to understand what their problems are. Then I can talk with my heart. Otherwise I'm talking with my head." Today 99.99% of the leaders, the corporate CEOs, they talk with their head. They don't talk with their heart, for they don't understand what is needed by the people. They haven't studied it. When you actually understand, then you will be able to understand. That mind is a truly illumined mind. For so many years, Mahatma travels through the country, washing his own clothes on the banks of the rivers, sitting in the trains in third-class compartment, traveling with thousands of ordinary people, knowing their problem. Show me one leader like this in this modern world, period. Nobody. Only Mahatma. Sriyan Loke, Devajushtam, Udaram. So forgiving, so useful to the world, so energetic. You see him walking in the video clips, even young people cannot keep up with him. So much of energy, bubbling with energy. Where does that energy come? When the character is pure. How do you get that character that is so pure? Tam Padmini Mim Sharanamaham Prapadye. There is this lotus. In this lotus, there is this indweller. Padminim Im Sharanamaham Prapadye. I take refuge in this indweller that is sitting in my heart. Sharanamaham Prapadye. When I go take refuge in that indweller, Tam, O dearest one, Padmini, in the lotus, Im Sharanamaham Prapadye. When I seek refuge in this indweller that is sitting in the lotus of my heart, Om Mani Padme Hum. When I go seek refuge in that, now here you see the words are very beautiful. Tam, Padminim, Im, Sharanam, Aham, Prapadye. Unconditionally when I go surrender myself to that indweller in the heart, and two letters that describe him, Eem. That's it. Padminim Eem. Now what is Eem? The seed letters. There are 32 seed letters from which the entire vocabulary of the human being are all the sounds of the whole universe emerged. And these seed letters are the 32 letters. One of the seed letters is Eem. Another seed letter is Om. Another seed letter is Aim. Another seed letter is Hreem. All these seed letters that we are talking about, this particular seed letter is Eem. Yesterday I described what this Eem is after the Abhishekam. I will remind for those of you who are not there, I think these young ones should listen to this. When you start your education, you start with A, B, C, D, right? Yeah. A stands for?
Apple.
B stands for?
Boy.
Boy. C stands for? D stands for?
Dog.
Yeah, that's it. After studying ABCD, you become ABCD. What is ABCD? American born, confused Desi. Huh? A, B, C, D. Apple centric, yeah, Apple centric world. Apple, if you use a Samsung, thank you very much, but generally speaking, this is the most popular brand. Apple, boy, cat, dog. Carrying apple, surrounded by good boy network, running around to get a livelihood like cats and dogs. But I said yesterday, E is the verb where you start the actual education. Om Namah Shivaya, Siddhan Namaha. That is the way. When you are doing Akshabhyasam, Om Namah Shivaya, Siddhan Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya. I am ready, positive, ready for the word. Om Namah Shivaya. Namah Shivaya is positive. I am positive and ready for the word. E, Aham, Atma, Idam, Ishvaraha. Who am I seeking refuge? Eem. Who is that Eem? Ishvara. Tam Padminim Eem Saranamaham Prapanche. There is Ishvara inside. To that Ishvara, in that Ishvara, I seek complete refuge. Sharanamaham Prapanche. Then what happens? Once I seek refuge in this supreme indweller that is in the lotus of my heart, Alakshmir me Nashyatam. All the Alakshmi is destroyed. What is Alakshmi? One that is not Lakshmi. Right? Alakshmi means the one that is not Lakshmi. What is not Lakshmi is inauspiciousness. Negativity is destroyed. Why is it when you seek refuge in that Ishvara, all your negativity is destroyed? Why? But we started the conversation with what? Mind. When you seek refuge in the Ishvara, negativity is destroyed. What is destroyed? Mind is destroyed. There is no little guy in the back talking anymore. Okay? Many of us have this little guy. He pops up and he's talking. And he's talking all the time. He's doing so much. Then suddenly you say, hey, stop talking. What nonsense you're talking. Stop talking. He won't listen. Stop talking. Won't listen. Okay, I'm not listening to you. I'm listening to this. Then this guy has really not stopped talking. You stopped listening. When you stop listening, he gets tired. Wow, this fellow is useless. He's not listening to me anymore. Then slowly, and gently, the noise is reduced. The signal is improved. The head is going down. The heart is going up. When this head is going down and the heart is going up, when the heart is actually talking, suddenly this guy feels, oh man, I should also start listening to this guy. When this little guy in the back of your head, he is now not talking, but what is he doing? Listening. Then you suddenly feel like somebody else is talking, not me. Somebody else is doing, not me. Somebody else is singing, not me. Somebody else is actually doing everything anyway. Suddenly you realized that somebody else is, but that guy is the guy only that is doing all the time. Hello? Not who is doing everything? Anahata. Anahata means the one that is beating without anybody beating it. Ahata means to beat. Anahata means the one that is beating without anybody beating it. Who is beating? Yeah. Is somebody beating it? Who is beating? Heart, but who is beating the heart? No, don't. You're thinking. When you understand that, you're truly meditating. Meditation is exactly that. Who is beating? Who is beating this heart? You? Am I beating your heart? Who is beating your heart? Yourself? Who is that? Me? Who is me? When you are sleeping, are you beating your heart? Are you beating your heart? No? Who is beating when you are sleeping?
God.
God. Where is He?
In your heart.
In your heart. Tam Padminim Im Sharanamaham Prapachye. That's it. You answered the question. For this, why you have to learn Sri Suktam, you can ask the question. But you are learning Sri Sukta because these Veda mantras are complete reminders of what is actually happening. See how what beautiful, a simple mantra, but when you actually go into the depth of what this mantra is, for this, first you have to start developing the trust that somebody else is doing. And slowly you begin to understand. This trust is so natural to us. Sharanam, seeking refuge. How do I seek refuge? Is that some kind of a strategy? Corporate strategy? You have to be trained with training courses, development courses. Here is a heart. It's beating without anybody beating it. Do you need a training for that? And you have to seek refuge. You have to trust that your heart is beating. If you don't trust, what will happen? You will be dead. Yeah, exactly. Right? So, but you know you are living. Somebody is beating the heart. Are you saying, oh, next minute I have to breathe, otherwise I will be dead? You are naturally breathing. Who is breathing? You? Are you putting any effort to breathe? No. Only when you have asthma, you have to put an effort to breathe. Otherwise it's natural. So all these abilities are naturally happening. What is the point? But suddenly what happened is, there is some little guy that is saying, hey, I am in control of you. Listen to me, listen to me. Then slowly you lost touch with this and you got more touch with this guy in the head. But this Sharanam, Sharanam is a very simple way to translate Sharanam is a trust. This trust that we have is so natural to us, right? When you go to a barber in India for a haircut or a beard cut, and you're sitting in front of the barber, the guy is using a very sharp knife and he's doing like this, like this, like this, like this. And when the knife is right here, are you thinking, is this guy going to cut my throat? Are you? No man is trusting like that. You trust the barber. Hello. You trust the barber, he will continue shaving and saving your life. When you get into a taxi in some remote town in some South Africa or some place, and you know there is a lot of crime there, you are sitting in the taxi, and if all the time you don't have trust in the taxi driver that he will take you to the destiny, but he will take you some remote place on the hill, he is going to take a gun, shoot you and all that, will you be enjoying the ride? You trust a driver who you had never met in your life. You trust him. You trust a barber, you trust a doctor, you go to a surgery, and if you don't have trust in the doctor, she is going to cut my stomach.
But uncle, we only trust the best doctor in the world. We don't.
Tell that to Shobha, she's walking out as we speak. No. You trust to every doctor that you go. If you don't trust, then you can't be going through the surgery with that doctor. Impossible. Huh? If I have a problem with the right kidney, you go to the doctor and say, is he going to really put the right kidney in the right way, or will he cut out the left kidney, or is he going to do this? You trust a doctor, you trust a barber, you trust a taxi guy, you trust so many of people, what you call friends, on Facebook, and post all kind of nonsense, trusting that they won't misuse that information. You trust friends that you never knew even before and accept them as friends on Facebook. When something pops up and then say, will you accept this agreement? Without even reading any of the damn thing, you're accepting, right? How many times you're accepting these agreements? Trusting only, no? Have you read the complete agreement by Apple, what it said? No. I trust Apple, I accept. So many different ways when you trust. How is it that you don't trust him? How is it that you don't trust that supreme character and purity, embodiment of absolute divinity? Why don't you trust him that he will take care of you? That is Sharanamaham Prapajye. Tam Padminim Im Sharanamaham Prapajye. The moment I trust and I surrender myself to that one Ishvara that is in the lotus of my heart, then what happens? Alakshmirme Nasyatam Tvam Vrune. It's because of the power of the prayer. Tvam Vrune. Vrune means prayer. It's through the power of prayer that I cultivate this surrender and this trust in this Supreme One, so that what happens? My mind gets dissolved. And now what happened? When the mind is dissolved, what is actually radiant? No negativity, positivity, great character. Chandram, Prabhasam, Yashasa, Jwalantim, Sriyanloke, Devajustamadaram, Tam, Padminim, Im, Sharanamaham Prapajye, Alakshmir Menasyatam, Tvam, Urune. What an incredible mantra. What an incredible inspiration of a mantra. You don't have to go learn any of these things right now. If you think I have learned all of these things coming and talking, it is not this head that is talking. It's the heart that is talking. In fact, I am enjoying myself, listening to myself. Yes.
I have a question. I'm kind of confused as well. So the more you go closer to Swami, the more difficulties and problems that he gives, and the mind is like so confused.
What do he gives?
Not he gives. He take upon.
Okay. Keep going.
So
You are answering your own question. I know that. Yeah. At the end of the question, I got it. You will say.
why is it that it's happening like that?
Okay. So the question she is asking is, as you go more closer to him, it appears there are a lot more problems and difficulties. Yeah.
Like, say, for example, health-wise or anything,
Yeah.
And why is it like that? That's my question.
It's very difficult to abolish this Alakshmirme Nasyatam. It's a long process for some people. For some people it happens, Alakshmirme Nasyatam happens without pain. When you have prayer as your tool, Tvam Vrune, when you have prayer as your tool, when the mind is getting dissolved, yes, it appears that we are experiencing lot problems, lot more difficulties, health and wealth and otherwise. For to go through that process of destruction of the mind, which is responsible for the pain and the pleasure, you require an anesthesia called prayer. That's why in the mantra it is saying, Alakshmirme Nasyatam is happening with what? Tvam Vrune. When I pray to you, then what happens is, it's not that the pain and pleasure are not there. They are there. Like I was saying yesterday. How many of us want to go through surgery without anesthesia? Generally speaking. You want anesthesia only. No. That anesthesia is prayer. So, what happens is, because the mind is responsible for the pain and the pleasure, and this mind that is programmed through many, many, many lifetimes. It is programmed through many, many lifetimes. Not just this lifetime. You will be wondering, oh my God, ever since I grew up, I never did anything wrong. I have a beautiful family, great parent. Why is it that I am going through all this trouble? Very common question. When for that, again yesterday satsang is saying, if you cut a finger, will the blood come 3 years later? Right away. If you plant a tomato seed, will the fruit come 10 years later?
No.
Only 3 months. When you plant a mango tree, when will the fruit come? 3 days later? 30 years later. There is a beautiful story. Now that she asked this question, I have to share this. Dhritarashtra, the father of the 100 Kauravas, 100 plus Kauravas. This Dhritarashtra, at the end of the war, when all his children died, then he had a question for Krishna. He asked Krishna, I am a born blind. I am first of all born blind not because of my problem, because of my mother's fault. If I go into that, you watch Mahabharata, then you will understand all of that stuff. So I won't go into all the side stories. But anyway, I am a born blind guy with such a chastite woman, Gandhari. I never did any mistakes, anything wrong. Why do I have to go through the pain of loss of 100 plus children through this war? That too, some guy sitting next to me giving commentary, how each one got killed. His name is Sanjaya. He was a beautiful commentator. He's giving all this commentary and I have to go through all this pain. Why I have to do that? What wrong did I do? Krishna explained very beautifully. 100 plus lives ago, you were a hunter. And when you were hunting, the forest fire caught up. There was a bird's nest above you with 100 plus chicks. And the birds became blind. Watching all these 100 chicks die, and you killed the father bird through your arrow, and the entire family of the birds got vanished. Because you were present there and you contributed to this bad thing, your action resulted in that. To have one child, you have to do so much of punya, so much of good things you have to do. So you have to be born and born again, doing good karma, so much good karma that you are blessed with 100 children. And after that 100 children, because you are responsible for killing 100 little birds, you have to watch all the 100 die. This happened 100 plus years ago. So don't think that the troubles and problems that we are getting today is nothing to do with God. Absolutely nothing to do with God. The problems and the troubles and tribulations are our own actions that are bundled up. Some result in karma this lifetime, some result in karma next lifetime, some result in karma hundreds of lifetimes after. Now, this is very disappointing. I have no idea what I did 100 lives ago. Are you kidding me? Come on, man. Somebody, can you please erase all of this stuff? And God is saying, I'm sorry, I can't interfere with that. But I can help you that whatever karma you are doing now, if you actually are doing, first of all, not bad karma, or even good karma, or any karma, if you do it with my name on your lips, and you surrender the phalita, to the result, but you only do the action, that too, do the action with my name on your mind, then that karma will not get accumulated, because those seeds you are frying, they won't germinate again. What you are frying them is in the name of God. And hence Namasmarana is the only way to get rid of the bondage of karma, nothing else. Even good karma, let me tell you this, when you do good karma, if you do good karma without having the name of God on your lips, then you will be reborn with good karma, means golden shackles. If you do bad karma, you will be born with iron shackles. The shackles are shackles. Any karma will have, you have to be reborn to enjoy all that good karma. Hello? So good karma, bad karma, whatever karma, have the name of the God. Tvam Vrune, with a prayer in your heart. Seek refuge in the heart. Ishvara in the heart. Then what happens? Your mind will get dissolved. When your mind is dissolved, you have a great character, because you are working with the heart now, not with the head anymore. When you work with the heart, you will be absolutely radiant with that great character. That great character will give help in service to the world, and even the gods want to seek refuge in you to experience the world. Auntie, you want to say something? Yes, mind is, that's what I was saying. To begin with, there is a lot of mind, very less of heart. When you start programming yourself, this signal is increasing. When the signal is increasing, the noise is overwhelmed by the signal. 99% of the time, the noise is overwhelming the signal. When the heart starts taking over, the signal is much way above the noise. This noise, the pain and pleasure you're talking about, you begin to experience a lot more. Before you were insensitive to that. You don't even have the awareness of that. It's good when you're experiencing that problem, you'd have to go seek more refuge in him. That's why Kunti said, what do you want? He asked. Krishna asked. Mother Kunti said, give more troubles. Why? Because I will remember you more. Otherwise I won't be remembered. Suffering from happiness. Yes? Let's chant Chandram Prabhasam one word. Chandram Prabhasam Yashasa Jvalantim Sriyam Loke Devadushtamudharam Tam Padminimim Sharanamaham Prabhadye Alakshmir me nasyatam Vamrune Aditya Varne Tapaso Vidhato Vanaspadistava Vrukshota Bilvaha Tasya Bhalani Tapasa Nudantu Mayantaraya Shabhya Alakshmi. I thought I'll do justice to both the mantras today, but 4 more minutes. I don't think I want to get into the next mantra, which is again elaborating more on this aspect of Aditya Varne Tapaso Adhijato. This first thing that talked about is Chandram. The next mantra is Aditya Varne. Chandra is mind. And Surya is not this Surya. Aditya is intellect. The first mantra is talking about how to annihilate the mind, what annihilates the mind. Now there is a role for the intellect also. Now what is this intellect now? You have to be very careful here. We are not talking about different guys sitting in your head. Okay? In fact, these four that we are talking about, Mano, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara. Mano, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chitta, Ninaham. Not just Shrot, that Atmastakam is there. This concept of mind, intellect, conscience, ego, they are the same substance that does different jobs. Okay? Don't be thinking there are four different, I have to deal with four guys. No. It's only one guy. In the office, he is a CEO. At house, he is a janitor. In some houses. Most of the houses. Same guy is doing his different jobs, no? For children over weekends, he is a car driver. Nothing more than that. For all these things that we are talking about, when that substance, when it is following the senses, somebody said the mind controls the senses. No. Mind doesn't control the senses. Mind simply follows the senses. That's all it does. It has no other job description. Because it sees something, it wants to watch it. When it smells something, it wants to drink that Starbucks. So when it is doing all these different, when that nice gongura smell is coming, it's incredible. He just wants to follow the smell of that gongura, nothing else. Right? So its job is to follow the senses. Then it will take the input from the senses, convey it to something else, and that something else says, okay, it's time to act. Right? So that is the mind, taking input. That's all it does. Buddhi is the one that is actually taking that input and it is now analyzing. Yeah, it's true, Starbucks, very expensive though. Can I afford it? Yes.
So when the mind is listening to the heart,
the mind is listening to the heart.
At the ultimate level, when the signal is high and then... So what's the relationship between the senses and the mind?
You are senseless.
But you have to use a sense, right?
No. The point I'm saying is, when the mind is listening to the heart, it doesn't... The senses are there. But the senses, instead of turning outward, they are now turning inward. Same senses are there. Nothing has... The beauty of all of this is nothing has changed. Only the key, rotation, has changed. What did I say? When you rotate inside, then all the senses, when they are turned inside, the mind automatically follows them inside. Its job description is to follow the sense. So when the heart... So when you are turning the senses, so here is, that's why Bhagavan said very beautifully, 3 dictums of life. Bend the body, mend the senses, end the mind. Bend the body, mend the senses. He didn't say become senseless or totally insensitive guy. Okay? That's not what he said. Mend the senses. You can't do anything with your sense other than mending it, right? Now then what happened? When you mend the sense inside, automatically the mind has to follow what the sense is doing, because its job description is follow the sense. Therefore he said, Manasa bhajare Guru Charanam. When you're doing worship, the purpose of worship is the sense is now turned towards inside. You understand? Okay? So when the sense is turned towards inside, then obviously what happens is the heart is now mind is now saying, oh, I have to go inside now. That means I am basically subduing that urge to go outside. Outside is so noisy. Inside is a lot more quiet. So when the sense is directed inside, the mind appears to be quieting down because inside it is more still than outside, which is so perturbing. That is the concept. So with that, I'll stop here, and we will close with Om and Tri Shantis. Next week is 10th, Shravana Purnima. Very beautiful day. We'll talk about on Shravana Purnima, Aditya Varne Tapasar Jato. It's an incredible mantra with how now the intellect comes into the place in the context of improving this character. It goes on. This mantra, this character is the fundamental basis of Sri Suktam. How the character becomes more radiant and positive. So what's the time now? So 10 o'clock or 10:02. Let's close with Om and Tri Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Bhur Bhuvah Tatsavidurvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo